Bubsy, 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 Bobcat!
Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Bubsy 2 for the Super Nintendo. That's the version I'm playing, but it is also available on Sega Genesis. It is also available on Steam as part of the Bubsy Twofer, which uses the Super Nintendo versions of both the original Bubsy, which I don't know I'll ever play, who knows, and this game, Bubsy 2. The story of this game is not really touched upon in-game at all. It's more touched on in the instruction manual, where you really hear about it. Basically what happens is, you're Bubsy, you just saved the world from the Woolies. You're with your cousins Terry and Terry, who you can play as in two-player mode. I'll go into more of that later. And you're about to head to this museum that's run by this guy named Oinker P. Ham, who is this big, huge, fat, anthropomorphic pig. Here's the thing about Oinker P. Ham's museum. He literally steals everything from the time-space continuum.
Remember, I am a trained professional.
Literally. It's not really explained how he does it, it's just explained that he does this and manages to get away with it. And so the only way to experience basically anything is to go to his museum. Of course, that obviously has the consequences of messing with the time-space continuum, and so when we go over there, we have to go through all the levels and basically return everything back into the time-space continuum, which sounds kind of complex, but it isn't. You're just going from left to right in a side-scrolling environment. And you have to do this for 3 floors, and that's pretty much it. There are 5 types of levels. I'll be going through them and describing them as we go through the game. And much like the original Bubsy, you are basically playing a Mario-Sonic combination sort of game. Character moves like Sonic, but there is Mario-like platforming. I guess you could say that. And I've been talking for about 3 minutes now, so you know what? I think it's better if I just started the game right now. You can go between 1-player mode, 2-player friends, 2-player feisty, and of course you can play the mini-games if you so choose. I'll be going through the mini-games as well. And if I don't go through all the types, I'll definitely play 1-player mini. And you can also go between a grand tour of all 3 floors. You can play only the 1st floor, only the 2nd floor, only the 3rd floor. You can play for points or time. You can toggle between having the music, the sound effects only, the music only, or a combination of both, or no sound at all. And you can actually switch the jump and item menus around. Item commands around. B lets you jump, holding Y lets you glide, pressing X lets you switch between the toys that you can use to get through the game, and A lets you use them. That's assuming you're playing with these default settings, and credits of course lets you go through the credits, which I will be doing at the end of the Let's Play. I pretty much have everything set up the way I need to. Not really sure I'll be playing for time, though if I play for time I'll have as long as I want to go through the levels. And I believe 2-player friends and 2-player feisty, the only difference between them is that you can play as either Terry or Terry, one of Bubsy's nephews/nieces. One's a nephew, the other's a niece. And friendly... Basically, the main difference between friends and feisty is that with feisty, the 2nd player can basically just sabotage the other person's playthrough of the game, basically, which is kind of nice. You can just kind of throw bananas into your friend's path, assuming you don't want them to be your friend anymore. and you can just kind of mess them up and try to get them to lose lives that way. Already started a one-player game here. We can choose between the east wing and the west wing. I'm actually going to be crazy enough and play through both wings. Why? Because I can. I'm going to start with the east wing first.
Another swine mess.
Expect Rob Paulson to pepper the game with sound bites of Bubsy throughout the game. I know he didn't voice Bubsy in the first one. I forget who did off the top of my head. But I know Rob Paulson does in the second game, and he just sounds like a higher-pitched wacko. I should be going through the level types right now. You have the medieval type, the flying type where you fly in a biplane. You have the music stage. You have the space pirate stage. And the Egyptian stage. So we have basically a good amount of ancient history. Something that has been prevalent through all of time. We have flying machines that are being stolen. And we have the space pirates also being stolen. So basically we're losing flying, music, a lot of ancient history, and a lot of modern history as well. So Oinker P. Ham really has run the gambit here. And you also have this portal, which once you complete all 5 stages, you'll be able to fight a boss battle of some sort. I'm going to go through the medieval stage first. You can just walk up to the teleporter pad and press up, or you can press B.
Remember, I am a trained professional.
And then you can enter the level. Now, basically we have a lot of platforming here. We have a marble collecting thing going on here as well. A lot of enemy destruction. We have a lot of anthropomorphic animals for enemies here, such as pigs, kangaroos, buzzards, goats, sheep. You don't have the woolies like you did in the first game. Those guys are gone. And the more enemies you destroy without landing on the ground, the more points you get for each one. I should definitely be mentioning the enemies as I go. The sheep will sometimes move back and forth, and they try to attack you with sonic yelps, which you can also destroy. The goats love to jump. The kangaroos love to run, not run, but jump and slide. These pigs like to jump sometimes in static locations, other times in either to the left or to the right, just like the kangaroos or the goats. You will have other enemies that you will have to deal with, which I will probably mention along the way. And you also have these jerks. Now, the bees that I've jumped on, they just move back and forth and stop to rear back. But the butterflies will move back and forth, and that can definitely make them annoying. And they also track you as they do that. I will jump on her before she kicks at anybody, including myself. And you know what? I might as well go ahead and mention the diving suit and the other toys, because I can. Just by cycling through them with the X button, because we found the diving suit over here. We have the bazooka, which when you get ammo for it, you'll be able to shoot it at enemies, and when you shoot an enemy successfully with the bazooka, you can get a card. You can use the card to get power-ups after every stage. There's a smart bomb, which will turn every enemy on screen into marbles. You collect 500 to get an extra life. The diving suit allows you to jump into water for a diving minigame. This thing right here, which I'm using down a control pad to hold, just so I can look down. That is a well. If you jump in there without a diving suit, you will die. If you jump into any body of water without a diving suit, you will die. And the portable hole, you press A to use it, and then you press A again to throw it and jump back into the world select. And I'm going to go ahead and use the diving suit that I got. You move really slowly into it. You can jump, but that's pretty much the scope of your movement in the diving suit. You move a lot better when you're in the water itself. You want to do your best to avoid enemies, but your main focus of things to avoid is the tornado. You definitely don't want to move into that, because if you do, the minigame is automatically over. And getting around can be a pain if you don't know where that tornado is, that little whirlwind. I want to make sure I can keep it on screen at all times, so that way, or at least as on screen as I can, so that way I know where it is and I can get away from it accordingly. This thing will only move in diagonal directions and will take the shortest path to you, so you definitely want to be careful. And you do have a timer in the lower left corner. You definitely don't have a lot of time in these stages. When you get whisked away by the whirlwind, or when you collect all the bubbles, you will exit the mini game here, and you will get 150 points for every bubble that you pick up. I don't think you can get extra lives off of points.
Surely you jest.
But I know you can get them off of marbles, which act like the yarn balls from the first game. And I want to jump off of that immediately, because if I dilly-dally on that well, I will die. And I should be mentioning other things as well. Get off the item, so that way I don't accidentally use it. There's those buzzers that will shoot those little blue guys like bombs. The band-aids will give you full health. You have up to 3 hits in this sequel, unlike in the first game where you had only 1. The exclamation points act as continues, as they act as checkpoints, basically. That's what I really mean to say. You move into those, and when you die, you'll continue back at the last checkpoint you hit. And there's quite a few scattered throughout the levels. And by entering these doorways, by pressing up in front of them, you can enter other areas. And you can also enter mini-games too. I don't know why I got hit there. Bazooka ammo for the bazooka gives you 15, I think. And a bag of marbles, which I believe gives you quite a few marbles. I didn't even check to see how much it gave you, but there are crates of marble that give you 25 and the bags give you 50. That's right. So crates for 25, bags for 50. You have these t-shirts that come back from the first game. The number that's on them dictates how many lives you will get. You will get 1 life for a 1 shirt and 2 lives for a 2 shirt. And I'm going to wait for this guy to attack again. I thought I could actually jump on that and get some extra points, but shows how much I know. Whoa. These guys will really track you. These bees. And if I jump over here, I'll have to deal with a goat. Definitely don't want to jump into those. Those are spikes, and spikes are instant death in this game. Even if you do have 3 hits and you have full health. Let's see here. Do want to go back down. That would benefit us to some degree. And flying squirrels. They fly around in kind of a figure-8 pattern. I definitely want to take care of them when I can. Definitely want to go up here too. If you jump on the fists of these pig statues, they do bump you up. So you want to keep that in mind. Oh, hey. Marbles and I missed. Excellent. Hope I didn't miss anything here. No, I didn't. That's good. Should be mentioned the HUD. Upper left is the score. Upper right is the amount of health you have, as well as the number of lives you have. Lower right is the amount of marbles you have, and lower left is the amount of time that you have, either to get through the stage or to kind of beat. In case you're playing for time, upper left will have the time you need to beat. That's the time that the first player to get through the stage set up. And this little mini game is kind of weird. You're playing as this little armadillo guy whose name I can't even remember. You kind of tap the control pad left or right just to not only dictate where you're going to go, but also to turn the fans on, and also the speed of which you're going to go. I kind of want to go left, but I kind of don't. Oh, there's the switch for that. I kind of want to go to the left. There we go. If you land on the tires when you make your way to the bottom of the truck, which is your main goal of the Armadillo minigames, you will lose your time bonus. You will lose all the seconds that you have left on the clock.
That's a cheap trick.
And you will end up with no time bonus. Basically, all you can do in the Armadillo minigame is just move left and right and press up to get the fans moving. That's about it. And there are some things here that I want to get. Also, bottomless pit, don't run into it, whatever you do. You will hate yourself for doing it. That will be an instant loss of a life, and I'm pretty sure you personally don't want to deal with that. Now, there are some switches on this bridge. I played through this level beforehand, so that's why I know. And there it is. There's a smart bomb, the little graduation cap on it. Believe it or not, besides that smart bomb and a 2-shirt, there's also a switch. You click them by pressing up. You will probably trigger something nearby. And if it has a 2 on it, that means it will be activated when the second player gets their turn. And I should have not jumped on that top pig. Some of the pigs will be walking upside down on the ceiling. And there was that car, there was one of those cars that I was talking about. I do want to go in here though. This is a one-way door, but it does lead to stuff. What hit me? It's one of those stupid butterflies. That's what hit me. Okay then. Let's take care of these guys. And then die. Well, at least I hit a nearby checkpoint. So if you couldn't tell by the face in the upper right-hand corner, near where your lives are, there are like 3 different sprites for the face, basically. One where you just have the normal Bubsy face. Ah. Another one for where Bubsy is smiling slightly, and another one where Bubsy is horrified. If you get hit while Bubsy is horrified in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to die. Thankfully, the Band-Aid is there to replace all your hit points in case you get hit. Now, that bonus trove took us all the way back to the beginning, but I've taken care of so many enemies here that it's not really that much of a problem. And there is a... Oh, that's the bottomless pit. Okay. Definitely don't want to run into that. Or go back down there. And I know this will take us to something. And it's a minigame. It's the frog launching minigame. You hold up or down to basically just adjust the power on this frog launcher here. And further away from the bottom of the screen you are, the more powerfully the frog is going to be launched. I should have pressed up right away right there. And when you're ready to launch the frog, when in the position you want the frog to be, the little launcher. Then you press B. And from there, you can guide the frog with the control pad. You can actually make him go further than usual. You can kind of hold him back a little bit with up and down, respectively. And you can also move him left and right with left and right control pad as well. And I messed up a little bit here. I'm not going to be able to hit those last two things, though it would have been nice if I did. But for every 5 things you get hit in the Frogapult minigame, you will get an extra life. So if you're really good at these things, you can get quite a few lives out of these. Speaking of lives, you start out with 5 rather than 9. Unlike the first game. Then again, you're not dying a whole bunch of cheap death like you did in the first game too. It is still possible to die cheaply, but at least you have hit points. And I want to take care of the enemies here too. And get some more yarn ball. Not yarn balls, but marbles. And up there, close to the score, that's Terry with a Y. There's Terry with a Y, who is the nephew of Bubsy, and Terry with an I, who is the niece. Every once in a while, they pop up on like the top or bottom or sides of the screen, and I don't know how that triggers. I'm guessing that's just completely random. And there are windows there, but you can't really access them because we're at the end of the stage. When you hit this huge marble, you basically trigger the end of the level. And once you do that, the faster you hit the end of stage marker, the more marbles that are going to pop out, and the more marbles you get, the closer you will not only get to an extra life in-game, you need 500 for one of those, but you will also get, I believe, 50 points for every marble you have at the end of the level. And now we're at the gift shop. This is where the cars that I mentioned that you get from hitting enemies with the Nerf Bazooka comes into play. For 1 card, you can get a ball for the Bazooka. For 2, you can get a smart bomb that clears off all enemies and turns them into marbles. For 3, you can get a diving suit. For 5, you can get a portable hole. And for 10, you can get an extra life. Don't really want an extra life quite yet. No. Okay. Left to buy, right to sell. That's what I meant to do. And I'll go ahead and keep it at 2 cards here. 10 should be more than enough. Shouldn't really need to do the diving minigame a couple times, though. If I do get good at it, I'll probably will keep doing it. And wow, we are already at 20 minutes. I want to keep the videos at 20 minutes just to keep them kind of short. Of course, this may mean a longer Let's Play, but don't want to waste too much of the viewers' time. Why did you fall off on me, microphone? As I was saying, I want to keep the videos at 20 minutes so that way I don't make the videos overly long and waste too much of y'all's time. So hopefully I may be able to play like 1 or 2 levels per video. So join me next time where I go through more of the first floor of the East Wing. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!